Welcome to episode 29 of the What Happens Next podcast. And in this short episode, I want to talk about the two sides of happiness. I want to talk about hedonism and eudaimonism. I want to talk about hedonism and eudaimonic well-being. I want to talk about hedonism and eudaimonic well-being, because actually finding purpose, meaning and having fun are all important parts we've got to play. In this video, I talk about Ikigai and the French concept of raison and the French concept of raison d'etre, and looking at how we can think about enjoyment through a different lens. Hopefully you'll enjoy this episode. We're on a mission with What Happens Next to help as many people as we can navigate the next chapter of their life. So I need a favour. I'd like you to visit our YouTube channel at What Happens Next Life, and we'll make sure we put a link to the YouTube channel in the comments. Enjoy the videos, like the ones that you get benefit from, but most importantly, please subscribe. We want to help as many people as we can with What Happens Next, and subscribing to our YouTube channel for free is the easiest way you can help us. So one trait over the last few years I've tried to encourage myself to be better at is curiosity, learning and growing and developing to be more curious. Often it's weird, as a chartered financial planner, people come to you for answers. But my experience is that actually asking more powerful and pertinent questions, understanding more, gives you two wins. Number one, it enables you to help more, make sure your answers are more tailored to what somebody wants to achieve. But also, you get to learn. You know, I think that all of us have got this opportunity to learn from each other, and asking better questions for me is the key to that. Welcome to the What Happens Next channel if you haven't been here before. My name's Chris Dames. I'm a chartered financial planner, really proud owner of a practice called Savello, where we help people get really clear on where they are financially and work out what happens next in their lives. However, one of the things that we were really conscious of doing is making sure we had deeper conversations about that crossroads many of us face, so that we can think about the transition we're making in life from, either working full time and running our business to looking at what's next. Often that means selling your business or moving on to what's next, or changing what you do for a living and then thinking about what's next. Because often, even though retirement might be the more conventional way of thinking about what's next, our experiences, our clients in their 50s and 60s who we help become financially independent don't always want to move from being a business owner or being a senior executive in a company to nothing. So thinking about some of this sort of stuff and planning for what happens next is a really important step. We've been interviewing experts for a decent amount of time now, and you'll find all of these on the YouTube channel. Before I talk about what I want to talk about in today's video, though, what I would ask you to do is like and subscribe to this channel. Our aim is to continue to share amazing quality content that supports you think about what happens next in your life. And actually, the more that you, for free, say that we're doing good work by liking and subscribing to this channel, so you know when we're delivering more and more good stuff, that helps us massively. So please do that. But today I want to explore, just do a bit of a summary video really, and talk a bit about the experts we've had on What Happens Next over the spring that I'd suggest that you might want to watch the full videos of. So at the minute, I'm spending a lot of time writing the What Happens Next book. I'm 50,000 words in as I speak to you today, and currently working to make sure that the book adds as much value as we can to people thinking about that next stage in their lives. Now, the book's not ready yet. It won't be out until sometime in 2025. I'm working hard to get it finished. But what you can do is sign up for the book waiting list. So you're one of the first people that gets access. You can simply do that by visiting whathappensnext.life/book. Join the waiting list today, and you'll be one of the first persons to get access to the book and some extra goodies when it comes out. First thing I want to talk about Cliff Spolander. So Cliff's a guy I've known for a while, amazing guy who shares what it takes to sell your business. If you're at that point when you're thinking about what to do to your business, Cliff gives really good, clear tips on what you need to do for your business. And it's interesting. Every time I speak to Cliff, I learn something new. And we know the stats for business sales. You know, the statistics are most businesses do not sell. So what Cliff did in his interview is highlight some of the practices we might want to consider now, if we're a couple of years away from selling our business, to make sure our business is as profitable as possible. Certainly, I'd recommend you check out Cliff's video for more information about how you can practically do that. Next up in our spring videos, we had Jane Thomas. And Jane shared the work she does about understanding what motivates and drives us. Jane's an expert in motivational maps. She helps organisations and individuals, primarily in the UK, but also around the world, work out what really, really drives them so they can get to a point where they're living lives full of purpose. Often my experience is that when we're at that transition where we're thinking about what happens next, we need to do an element of self-reflection, an element of know thyself before we can move on to whatever's next in our life. And Jane talks about the way she uses motivational maps as a tool to support people with that self-reflection, with an element of coaching, so they can build a life that really means something to them. Now, if you're curious about what either Cliff or Jane does, you can look at the full interviews, and the links to those interviews will be on the link below. Our next spring one that was really insightful was from Emmanuel Escudo. Now, you might have seen Emmanuel pop up on your telly box. He does a lot of consumer-focused personal finance content for Channel 4 and other channels. Emmanuel's great at explaining financial concepts in a way where you just get it. And we had a really good conversation, Emmanuel and I, about what it takes to be financially independent, the elements that you want to consider when you're thinking about how much is enough for you financially, how working with a financial planner like Emmanuel or I might help, and the actionable steps you should consider taking when you're thinking about what happens next in your life from a financial perspective. We'll put the link to the full interview in the notes below. So, Cliff's interview can help us really understand how our business fits into our overall plan. And if the plan is to sell our business, think about how to maximise the value whilst we're still in it. Jane talked about what drives and motivates us as humans and the tool that she uses to help you get closer to what motivates you in your life. And Emmanuel talks about some really clear financial steps you can take to work out what financial independence means to you and develop a clear route to get there and achieve it. I think that's massively insightful. Again, if that's been useful and you've watched some of our videos, please do like and subscribe. It really helps. And we'll see you next time on What Happens Next. Part of the issue we've got when we're thinking about what happens next in our lives is having the self-awareness, having the introspection to be able to think about what the gaps in our well-being are. And we're doing loads of work at the minute with What Happens Next to build solutions that are going to help you think about well-being in a nuanced way when you're thinking about how it applies to your life. One of the first things we've built that you can use today is our What Happens Next quiz. It's free to do, takes about 5 minutes, but what it will do is give you an insight into the areas of strengths when it comes to your well-being and the areas you might want to improve. You can take the What Happens Next quiz at whathappensnext.life/quiz, and I hope it helps you in your journey to work out what happens next for you.